Hello everyone, welcome to the Stepped Up Nurse podcast. I'm really excited to have you one more time on this show. I believe that you have watched our previous videos and I believe that watching this will change your life. Today I have on board an amazing speaker, but before we go on, I want you to please click on the subscribe button if you have not subscribed, and please put on your notification bell so that anytime we drop any other video you will be notified. So let's go to today's session. We have an amazing speaker on board, and actually this person is not just a speaker, she's a friend. So I'm coming to this show with my emotion on my sleeve. You can see everything bright on me. So today we have nurse Deborah Onumajuru on the call, and we'll be talking about her relocation experience, the comparison between nursing in Nigeria and nursing in the UK. I believe that some people watching this will be like, oh, we already know what you guys want to say. Trust me, everybody's experiences may be different in one way or the other. So she'll be sharing with us how everything went, and you will be putting in the comment section, why are you still in Nigeria? I believe some people will be asking me, not only what are you doing in this country? Say, what's your problem? Okay, I'm here because of you. So Nurse Onumajuru, we are really excited to have you. Kindly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for having me on your podcast section. I'm really excited to be here. Like she rightly said, my name is Deborah Onumajuru, and I'm the founder of the Body Nurse community. That's what I do on the side. But first and foremost, I'm a registered nurse. I'm licensed to practice in Nigeria, and I'm also licensed to practice in the United Kingdom. And I've been practicing for the past 12 years. And I relocated to the UK in 2022 for my career progression, to start my career as a nurse in the United Kingdom. And it's been an amazing journey. And before I relocated, I've also been volunteering for the Pregnancy Support Foundation, which is very dear to me, although I've not had time in recent time, but we're looking at how to go back to that part of my life because that's what I used to do before I moved here. So I believe in the coming days I will go back to what I used to do with the Pregnancy Support Foundation. Yeah. So basically that's just an overview of what I do. So currently in my current role as a nurse in the United Kingdom, I working with the elderly unit in an elderly department currently, where we attend to elderly patients, patients from above 65 years, dealing with those with dementia, Alzheimer's disease, COPD, and anything that has to do with that is things that have to do with the elderly.
Elderlies.
Yeah, elderly. Yeah. So, but also in that role, I also mentor nursing students. I'm a nurse preceptor, and I'm a nurse assessor and a supervisor in my current role also. And I still do that back home. I mentor nursing students back home in the body nurse community, where we have students from different parts of the country, where we offer mentorship sections, clarity sections to students. Currently this year we decided to go into skill acquisition or digital skill station training for nursing students, and the first section would be coming up next week. We're starting with the digital skills section on graphic design. So we have other amazing programs that we have stated for the year, but that's what we're starting with. So these are things I do. I also volunteer as an OSCE trainer. I teach people OSCE. I love teaching. So I volunteer with the community, yeah, where we teach nurses or students or nurses who are on the journey to the United Kingdom to work as a nurse. They want to write their OSCE exams. So we also train nursing students. Sorry, not nursing students right now. Nurses who are on the process of registering as nurses and to work in the United Kingdom. So, which I think that's the part 2 exam. Yeah. So that's what we do. And I've been doing that, for I think about 2 years now since I passed my OSCE exams. I started volunteering for that, and it's been an amazing journey also. Every month we have sections where we teach students, we teach nurses, and we train them, prepare them for their OSCE examination. We offer examination, offer clarity sections to them, offer advices and counsel on how they can ace their OSCE exam in one sitting, and that is what we've been doing. So I do also many other things. I volunteer in my hospital. When there's a program for international nurses, I put myself forward to showcase my skills and expertise. And it's been an amazing journey of these 12 years. So I'm a mom also. I have a family. I've got two kids. I have my own personal development program. I recently just started my master's degree program, and I've been asking also, Nick, please, how do you do it? Because it's
Yay!
so overwhelming, and I'm tired at this point because I don't even know how to juggle all these activities together. I've just started and I feel overwhelmed already because I don't just know. I'm like, how did I get myself into all of this? So, but I know with time, yeah, things will fall in line, and then we get to take it one day at a time from there. Yeah.
Mm,
So, yeah.
mm. It's been an amazing 2 minutes listening to you talk.
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
I know an handful of nurses that if they share their experiences of the past 2 years, of the past 3 years, your
Mm.
ears will be full. Like you will hear and hear and hear, and you'll be like, you have to take notes. Oh, I have to take notes. I believe that the nursing world has a very huge gap in the
Mm.
area of mentorship. There are
Mm.
lots and lots of upcoming nurses that need to hear you say these words and pick insights, and learn and unlearn and relearn and elevate from that listening experience or mentorship experience. So today is not for mentorship. I believe that
Yeah.
it's a process, right? It's not something that you can
No.
elucidate from just one video, right?
No.
Sometimes you need to work with people. Like I do a Stepped Up Nurse Academy over a period of time. So trust me that if you are a nurse and you're watching this, or you're a student nurse and you're watching this, trust me, you need some amazing nurses in your corner, and Nurse Deborah Onumajuru is one of them. I remember when she started Body Nurse Community.
Mhm.
When we were talking about it, I can still remember where I was
Hmm.
on that day. As in, I can remember I was in somebody's house when we were talking. We got on the call and we're talking, and you mentioned to me that you wanted to start a brand for student nurses, and I was like, which kind of thing is that one now? Like, you want to be teaching students? I was like, babe, are you sure you're going to enjoy that thing? And she was like, no, this one. And here we are today. I think a lot of waters have flown under the bridge, and I know
Mhm.
that God is taking us to very, very far at. So today, I want you to share with us what I believe that right now the relocation process for nurses has changed slightly from when you relocated. Share with us, what was your experience like, and what is it like for people that are trying to leave the country right now?
Well, at the time when I left, there was still a very high demand for international nurses at that time, and I
Mm,
think they were just getting to that point where they were beginning to cut down on international recruitment. So, but I was lucky enough. My own relocation journey, I would say, is a miracle. Yeah, I would
mm,
say it's a miracle. It's a miracle because um, looking back and looking at how the old journey went, it's nothing but a miracle. So how did I start? I think somewhere in as I was about finishing my degree program, I was asking God and I was discussing with my husband what next. Because for me, I at every point when I'm ending a certain phase, I always start
mm-hmm,
thinking of what next to do. I'm not one that
mm-hmm,
know how to juggle so many things at the same time. So as at that time when I was still running my degree program, I know a lot of people were asking me what next did there be. One I had people who were relocating at that time. In fact, some of my friends who relocated at that time were asking, "Oh, Debbie, are you not thinking about this thing?" But at that time, it wasn't. It was towards the end of my program. I think the final year after I lost my dad, that's when I started to give it a thought. I'm like, okay, I think I need to start looking in this direction. So after I finished my degree program, I started preparing for my IELTS exam. Although I had some challenges while preparing for that exam, with passing the exam, so to say, because I think I had a challenge with the reading module. I was doing well in every other module, and for every exam I went, I was always short of 0.5. It was a frustrating time for me. It was really challenging,
mm,
but
mm.
we had to just keep
Zero point
pushing.
five.
Yeah, it's 0.5. I will always come out with a 6.5. I've never had nothing less than a 6.5 in reading. all my reading exam always came out with 6.5, but I kept pushing until I think somewhere around June in 2022. Yeah, I went for that exam. I didn't even prepare for that exam, so to say. But what happened was that I was about to go for my leave in June. In May, my husband just asked me and said, "Oh, what's your plan for this leave?" I said, "Well, because I started the results I had in the previous exam I had written was enough to take me to the US, was enough to take me to Highland. So I started the Highland process. So I said, okay, I want 1 month to complete the registration process, and then I'll just see where I can get to with this 1 month with the filing of my documents to the and I think I can't remember the board now, to the Island Board for Nurses. So I commenced that, and my husband said, why not give this exam a try? Before I could send back, my husband already started for 2 exams in that June. I think 10 days apart. Yeah. My husband already
Wow.
started for 2 exams. I was like, oh God, what kind of pressure is this man putting me up? Because at that time he has passed his own exam. So I just knew I just had to pass this exam. I don't know how I was going to do it. So that 1 month, I went off work. I wasn't really communicating with people at work because I knew what I was going to do. So I started preparing for that exam. I read like I'd never done in my whole life. I prepared for that exam to a point that I had blisters. I had blisters between my thumb and my index finger. It was that bad because I was constantly holding pen. I was constantly writing.
Writing.
Uh, the printer in the house, we printed a lot of questions, and I think my husband gave me a target. I was taking at least 10 reading passages per day. It was that
Per
much.
day.
No, it was that much. In fact, the previous exams I've done, for the way I prepared, there were times when I would see past question. I will know that I've done this question before. So I've done this question before, but still I don't
Before.
know. Oh, bring on. The result will come at 0.5. I said, okay, fine. But going back to your question now, I would say by the time I passed that exam, like I said, there was still very high demand for nurses. And it took friends, it took friends to, give me that breakthrough that was designed for me. And how did I say it took friends? Immediately I passed my exam, I had friends who were following up on me to know, oh, when is it going to happen? So immediately it happened. I remember I was hosting a program for the body nurse community that day when the result came out, and the title of that program was Acing Your Nursing Exam with Ease. Nobody knew my struggles at that time. Nobody knew what I was going through. I held that program, and I was constantly checking the IDP site for my results. So the result didn't come until later in the night. When the result came out, I told my friends I'd passed my exams and all of that. And immediately they said, Debbie, we're going to help you get information from our trust, if they are recruiting and all of that. So they were all out. They were all out for me. So like I said earlier, at that time there was a high demand for nurses. It took one of my friends to speak to our HR to say, "Oh, I've got this person who I know that she's very reliable. She's a disciplined nurse. She's well experienced." And the HR said, "Okay, forward your CV." And that was how I forwarded my CV, and I was shortlisted for interview. And that was the only job I applied
And
for.
that was
And
how you got your job.
that
You
was how
didn't
I
have
got
to
my job.
apply
I
to
didn't have
1,000
to.
places.
Honestly, I didn't have to do multiple applications. I just submitted my
That's
CV.
the
I was
power of
shortlisted for it.
friendship and networking,
Exactly.
actually.
I had one business. The only business I had was to ensure that I prepared sufficiently for that interview and ensure that I get that interview. That was the only assignment I had. So, and I had to do everything I had to do to ensure that I earned that spot. I earned in that
Position.
recommendation. Yeah, that recommendation. Yeah. So that was what I did, and I aced the interview, and then I got the job. So at that time, like I said, there was a high demand for nurses, even because at that time my trust they had this program where they allow you to recommend your friends or colleagues that you know that they are very reliable and trustworthy and they've got good track record of excellence. Yeah, they allow that. Is something that is open to my trust. I still did that to one of my colleagues also. So at that time that was, but it got to a time when everything ended, even for myself and my colleagues, we could no longer refer people. The trust was no longer in need of nurses. They had filled up all the vacancies that were available in every ward. So they were no longer recruiting at that time. And before we knew it, it also started spreading out to all the trust. Other trusts who were also recruiting internationally also had to slow down, wind down on international recruitment. And before we knew it, it became a national thing that most trusts were no longer recruiting internationally. And
That
yeah,
was in
because
2024, right?
yeah, no, that was around I think from the beginning of 20 at the tail middle 2023 towards the end of 2023 into 2024. So that was when it started. But at 2024, in fact, it became a struggle for even anyone to get a place. So currently, what many Nigerians are doing right now is this self sponsorship, because somebody says when there's a will, there's a way. So
Yeah.
people are to also look at the other options, at the other things that we can also do for us to get into the system. So I think people are to come up with this self sponsorship route, which has proven I would say it's for those who have tried it, it's got its own positive sides and it's also got its own downsides. Yeah. But if you look at it from the big picture, if you're not just looking at the funds that is involved in running a self-sponsorship project. If you look at it from the bigger picture, what it stands to benefit at the end of the day, I would say is a good project that people or nurses can
Yeah,
venture
it's worth
into.
it.
Yeah, it's worth it. But it's the issue now is how do you get the funds? That's where the challenge comes in. How do you get the funds? How do you sponsor that project? How do you get people to buy into your vision? Because as nurses, if you've got that kind of money, so many people will not even think of relocating in the first place. But we've got people who've got support from friends, who have got support from family members, who have got support from a whole lot of people who can sponsor that vision and ensure that they still get on board and maybe come up with a repayment plan when they come into the system to give them back. So currently it's very tight. We still got people who are still coming in to work in the United Kingdom via Heathrow Airport, daily. We still have people who are coming in, but honestly, the numbers have slowed down from what it used to be when I relocated and what it is right now. Right now, it's almost like a miracle to get a job from anywhere in Africa, not just Nigeria. Aside from the old red listing, I think it's a general thing that um, the Western world are beginning to cut down on international recruitment because is it sustainable? That's the debate ongoing. Is it sustainable for you to continue to recruit internationally? So what they're coming up with is seeing if they can develop their own homegrown nurses. Trying to
Yeah.
see if they could encourage more people to study nursing in the UK and see how to employ those who are already in the UK because we've
In the
got a lot of
UK.
nurses from Nigeria, yeah, who are not practicing, who are still maybe trying to pass their OSCE, who are still trying to pass their IELTS or OET, who are still trying to pass their CBT and stuff like that. So we've
CBT.
got different categories of people here. People maybe who got married to maybe a partner or a husband or somebody who is not
In the
a
UK.
nurse, and they came into the country on a spouse visa and stuff like that. So we still have those category of people who are still here, but they didn't start their registration from back home, or those who started back home and stopped halfway and got on another type of visa, they came into the country. In fact, I will tell you that we've even got nurses who are in the country that came in as what's it called? Carers, yeah. And after working for a few years, they're trying to now get their nursing registration. Honestly,
No fine again. We don't know what to do.
sorry, there's a noise in the background. Okay. So we've got a whole, number of ways or avenues that people have, devised to, still come into the country, yeah, to practice as nursing, but it's quite different from what it has been during the pandemic, post-pandemic. Right now, it's really slowed down the recruitment rates and the number of nurses who are coming in from Nigeria or any other part of the world has significantly reduced. So it's now the focus now is now on those who are in the country already, or them trying to see how to encourage younger people within the country to embrace nursing, to study nursing, and then come into the profession. Yeah. So that's
Just
what it
about
is.
that's actually an amazing share. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for
Mm.
going down that path, going down memory lane.
Okay.
Do you have nurses that relocated last year, right? That you know one on one, and did they share their story with you? What were their experiences? What did they bring from back home? Do you have such experiences of people that relocated recently?
Okay, it all depends. When you say recently, how recent do you mean?
Like I mean, over the past 1 year,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, over the past 1 year, I still know, I think, a few nurses who relocated over the past 1 year. But honestly, I would say it's after they came in, it's like the recruitment rate went further down. And for
Down.
them, they've been on the waiting list for like ages. I will put it that way because, in fact, I think one of my friends that came in at the early part of last year, when she came in, it was challenging because she's been here for a while, and she's been back home. She's passed all her exams and back home. So for her to get that spot, it was nothing short of a miracle for her to have gotten that spot, because I know the number of applications that she's done, and the number of rejections, number of interview spots that she got,
That
and
she
she didn't
got.
get any positive response after that. Yeah, so it's been challenging. We have a lot of people who have written their IELTS, they've written their CBT, and there are no jobs. People are having expired results. People are having to start the whole process again. So it's been challenging. It's been challenging. That's why, like I said, people who believe that they can no longer wait are going through the self-sponsorship route. Some people are even actually coming in as students, maybe for top up or a master's degree program, and they are also trying to see if they can get into the system before their program is before the end of their program. Yeah, yeah, before their
Over.
program is over. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of people are coming up with different means on how to ensure that their career progression goals is achieved. Yeah, so
Okay, and that's actually an amazing one. The relocation process actually is not
no.
an easy one, and I believe that that's the reason why a lot of people give up along the line. And I have some colleagues that have been processing trying to go to the US for 2 3 years now. I have a colleague that relocated 3 years back. She actually was on the process for about 5 years. Corona came, COVID came and met her, and they continued, and she kept waiting and waiting, and by the time the waiting was over, they were even already tired, like waiting. And it gets to a point where some people, like, they just give up. And the UK relocation process not actually that prolonged, but you see the US and the Canada. I was actually on a WhatsApp page talking with some people, and they were like, Canada, abeg, no, they mentioned that thing where I did. I don't want to hear it. So a lot of people have had challenges, and I actually celebrate your grit. I celebrate your tenacity and your determination. In that year when you were trying to relocate and we had discussions, I was like, I'm going to be praying for you, and because I know that that process is not funny. It's actually not a funny one. I've had my own taste, my own bitter taste of of the process, though I didn't need I didn't actually go through as much stress as you went through, but I know that it's not funny. So I celebrate you. We are going to be having you over for a continuation of this series. If you love this video, please do well to share this video with your friends. We are going to be having part 2, so do well to also watch the rest of this video. Thank you so much for deciding to be a part of this. Thank you, Nurse Onumajuru, for
Yeah.
sharing with us. We are really excited.
Yeah, I
I
can't
believe
wait to
that.
share with you guys what it has been like practicing in the United Kingdom, because there's a lot of things to
Uh,
share. There are a lot of things to share. So, and I believe it's good
yeah.
to keep you